Kalask!
Hello, greetings.
Hello, yes. Greetings to you, Rob.
It's very, very wonderful to have the opportunity to speak with you today, and I am very interested in knowing a little bit more about who you are and what your purpose is for connecting with David more directly. And is it all right if I ask a few questions about you and yourself and you and David?
Yes, this is very acceptable. We understand that you have also contributed a great deal to the vehicle's ability to connect to our energy. So, yes, this is very appropriate for you to ask whatever you please. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. And it's a great pleasure to be able to work with David. He's a wonderful, wonderful human and a wonderful person in general. I wanted to know, first of all, how should I address you?
You can address us by the name Kalask. This represents our particular species within the reptilian kind and within the empire, as you know, as the Draconian Empire. Yes, we are a particular group within this, and Kalask is the name that we have decided to go by while you are speaking to us.
Well, thank you, Kalask, and that's correct. Kalask?
Kalask, yes.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, so my first question would be, is there something that you can tell me about who you are that gives me a better energetic understanding of what your life is like or what your energy is like? Just something that you feel is important to share with me.
We understand that you are connected to another species, yes, a reptilian race in the Capella system, yes. This is more of a hybrid species. We are more purely reptilians, so we're not coming from this perspective of what you think of a reptilian race. Yes, we understand you are aware of several reptilian races, but we are more of a race that is purely in the line of what, from your connections, you know as the ancient reptilians. Yes, we are not part of the royal line of the empire, but nonetheless, we have more of a reptilian DNA than those other groups that you might connect to. Energetically, we come from what you consider a dark polarity, or I think what your connections call a type 2 entity. Yes, we do interfere with other species. However, we have reached more of a neutral point, moving towards what you consider the light. Not necessarily like a fifth column. Many consider us this in the Empire, but we don't think so. We think we are adhering to the ancient reptilian ways, just in a different way that more, let's say, traditional lines of the Empire have been used to. We have our own interpretation, so we are more balanced. Yes, we are more neutral. Most of the human species might still consider us more dark from where we come from, but we consider ourselves neutral because we think we have achieved a balance point. Yes.
So, are you one of the lines of family that TReb had talked about that had broken off of the main line of the Draconian race to find a different polarity than those who are of what most humans call negative polarity?
Yes, this is very correct. We are one of those groups. We are not the only one. There are also others, of which also some have connected to people in your world. Yes, through means like this, to speaking through a human vessel, or directly, more direct manners. Yes, we are just one of those groups. Yes.
So, have you broken off your ties with the other part of the more negative polarity, or is there some line of communication? How close do you guys relate to or interact with those who are still the majority group?
we are still a part of the Empire. Yes, we have not completely broken off our ties. We are currently working on something that might be considered a revolution in your world. It's not necessarily violence with people going on streets. We don't have streets like you do, but this is not what we are referring to. We are hoping for more people in the Empire, both of the reptilian kind, because understand not all members of the Empire are reptilian. We are hoping for more to branch off in different directions, so we're still immersed in this energy. We don't want to completely break away from it because we want to cause a general shift in consciousness within the Empire itself, because recently there also has been parts of the royal lines breaking off and going to a different direction. So there is chance for greater changes within the Empire that might alter the entire setting and direction that the Empire as an entity itself is taking, yes, which is the main reason, or one of the main reasons we have decided to speak to people in your world through vehicles such as this.
Well, thank you for that communication and your desire to connect to us. Another question I would have for you is, do you experience fear?
Yes, we do experience fear. More traditional members of the Empire might not admit this, but we have come to the conclusions that fear, yes, is present within the reptilian races in general, yes. This is something that we are faced with when we started to connect more to what you consider the emotions, yes. You understand that in many races of the reptilian kind, emotions have been shunned and neglected, similar to what your people on Earth consider sexuality as something that is part of you, but many of you shun it and think it is something wrong with it, or certain ways are wrong. Similar emotions in our species have been shunned as being wrong or weird and strange and something to be very careful with and even stay away from completely. But once we decided to connect more to this part of ourselves, the first emotions that were coming up for us were those that you consider dark and negative. Yes, understand, this is what happens if you shun emotions completely. Then first, the emotions that you will be faced with once you finally open up to them will be those that are based in fear. Yes, so this is what we are working with right now to break through to the other side. I hope you understand this concept, yes.
Absolutely, and I am very grateful for you sharing that with me. Then I guess my next question to ask is, what do you personally fear the most? And my second part of the question is there a difference in what your group fears compared to the regular line of Draconians?
The regular line of the Draconians would mostly fear love, because this is considered the greatest weakness. This is considered what is undermining the military fighting force of the Empire. Yes, we have previously given a word in the vehicles language. This describes this very good, but we don't think that there's a sufficient word in the English language that you can find in the vehicle's mind. So we'll just describe it as something that undermines the fighting force of our military. And as you understand, the military is very important still for all reptilian races, especially those that are affiliated with the Empire. And love is considered to be very dangerous because it is seen as like a virus that comes from the emotional level and make people have compassion, maybe even with what is considered not supposed to be compassionate, what maybe is considered the enemy or another force that might hamper our ability to advance in the future, and therefore love is very feared by all of people in the Empire, not just the reptilians, but everybody within. We are also experiencing more of a fear of persecution. Yes, I think this is very common in your world for different reasons. But we believe many in your world are able to relate to this pretty well, which is another reason we find it more easily to connect to you now, that we are experiencing this same state because of our branching away from the Empire, and there's a lot of tension in the air, yes, as you understand tension to be from the one side being pushed from the Empire with great aggression and rage, which is normal from this perspective, and from the other perspective, being shown love also from other entities that have started to connect to us, such as the feline group that are connecting to us and shining more love within us that we have decided to accept instead of neglecting. So we are kind of stuck between the reels, yes, and this is causing some unrest, as you might be able to imagine, yes.
Absolutely, and I want to commend you for going down your journey that you are, and I completely give my respect to all journeys, both yours and other groups. So, if love is one of the greatest fears, I've always had a sense of mind or presence that Draconians do love just in a different way, and their love is not centered for anyone outside of their own race or anyone outside of their own family. Can you describe maybe that kind of version of love or the dynamic when it comes to the interspecies relationship?
Yes, this is very correct. The exchange of energy and interrelating within families and greater tribes, it's also something that is shared by all living entities, because understand, without this sharing of energy, there can be no community in any form, yes? Understand, it is not necessarily what many in this general concept think of when they think of love, yes, because it is not what you call unconditional, yes, but particularly on your planet there are many people that say that they love somebody, but at the same time they're also filled with hatred or jealousy also in connection with the same person, yes. So this is not truly what you would call love from an unconditional angle, but yes, we have this too, compassion for our own kind, just this is not unconditional, yes. Honor plays a great amount of importance in our society because it is giving us strength, pride, and power, yes, the sharing of power and giving of honor. If you give honor to somebody else who might be superior in the line from you, because understand hierarchy is very strong within us, or if you're granting honor to somebody who is considered inferior in your line and you're giving them great strength by doing so, this can also be considered to be a loving exchange, yes? The energy is maybe more contained. Maybe if you take love and put it in a container, yes? So it cannot break free. This is maybe a concept that might be able to be more understandable for you. Yes, it is not free-flowing love. It is more like a currency that is exchanged in certain pipelines, maybe from one place to the other, where it's made sure that it arrives, the energy arrives at the right point in time. It is not allowed to flow freely, yes. Yes. More like vampirism, maybe, for many outside seeing this. It is being sucked. We don't see it as this, but others have considered it as being as such. Willpower is probably what is considered most important in the reptilian societies in general. Willpower is the greatest asset somebody can have, and this holds the same quality that maybe love holds in other, maybe more lightfully poled societies. Yes, this is the currency we use, and we have a society that is very, very bright and very considered strong in the defense to the outside and the sharing of community on the inside. Yes, if this is what you're considering love in this concept.
Beautiful. That's very, very perfect. I think I understand your race, your fraction of the race, and also the Draconian energy well. Do we have ample time to carry on further communication? Because there are quite a few more things TReb and Aridif are asking. One thing that Kalina is asking, if that's appropriate.
Yes, this is appropriate to do so. Bring forth whatever questions you have.
Okay, my question when it concerns to yours and David's relationship, why David? Why is his energy able to interact with yours, and why did you choose him to come through?
The vehicle that you are referring to as David in this life, yes, has first and foremost achieved a point of balance between the entities or the polarities that you are calling dark and light polarities. And this balance point we have also been reaching, maybe coming from the opposite direction. It is not really opposite, but it's easier for you maybe to understand using those words in your language, yes. So we have achieved a similar vibrational polarity in this interaction of different energies, and other individuals on your world have done so as well, and we have also connected to those previously and currently, and the entity that you consider to be David also has a current incarnation in a feline species that we are currently very closely communing with. The entity is firstly connected to those, but because of the shifting of polarities, we are now connecting to the entity as well, and with the entity having had incarnations within our kind also, this is most easy to connect.
Beautiful. One question then about your connection with David, and then we'll move to another subject. What is your experience while you connect to David, and if you're aware of what David experiences as he connects to you, would you be able to share both of those ideas with us?
For us, yes, we can do this. The body that we are currently inhabiting while we are speaking to you in your English language feels somewhat fragile and very small to us. This is very strange, but we knew this before the connection. Also, the vehicle is sometimes drying out very quickly. This is also something we are not used to because we can store a greater amount of fluids in our bodies. Yes, also the temperature rising very quickly and being very heated is something we enjoy in our world, but within this entity, this can reach some uncomfortability, and maybe this is something that the entity is experiencing while we are inhabiting the body. Also understand at the beginning of the connection there was not so sufficient flowing of energy in the year that you consider to be 2008. We have first connect to the entity very shortly, for a brief moment, without the entity having any clue or what is going on in the moment, and with the entity being in a very agitated state, yes, very negative and destructive. But at this point, we were not ready to commune with people in your world, so this was just a very short interaction that we start to delve more into in your year of 2011, yes. At the beginning, the entities thought we were trying to kill it and to annihilate its capacity to communicate at all because it was feeling electrocuted. We were not electrocuting the entity, we were not attacking any of your species, but the energy was not sufficiently aligned at this point. We have shown the entity our planet and our interaction with the planet Earth where we've been before. The entity not understood this sufficiently at the beginning, but it sparked enough interest for us to continue in this fashion. And now, in the last year, at the end of the last year, when we made the entity write some letters on your papers to bring through what you consider automatic writing, the entity was experiencing great pain in the chest area because the heart chakra was closing down from our energy. This has been altered this year in the recent months, which has finally made us able to speak through the entity more clearly, also relating to the entity's willingness to share more publicly. This has helped greatly in experiencing communication more clearly. Yes. Does this answer your question of the experiences on both sides sufficiently?
It does, and I appreciate the great detail and energy that you send with that detail. My next part of questioning, I'll change the line of questioning again, will be for Kalina. She's had incarnation as one of the, as humans think, negative polarity parts of your race, and she is wondering if you're
The
aware.
original matrix that came from.
And yes, the original matrix traversing that your race did to get into this universe, or part of the universe. I'm wondering if you're aware of her incarnation, first of all, if so, if there's anything you could say about it, and thirdly, she just wanted to relay her own hello and love to you guys, and also the other part of your race.
Yes, hello to you as well, Kalina, and we appreciate the greetings and share the greetings with you that you give us, yes. And we understand we have connected to your energy now that we have been speaking. And yes, we see you as being part of this energy. And we also experience fear that is still within you when you are connecting to this, yes. We understand many of the peoples within your world are experiencing this. For you, this may be less than those that are still hostile or very weirded out, maybe in some cases of reptilian energies. You are more open to those. But this particular branch, there might still be fear within you, not so much that you are standing in front of the entities and you are maybe experiencing what is xenophobia that many in your peoples have when you're relating to those energies. This is not so much the case with you. With you, it is more the fear of the darkness within you. Is this something that rings true to you? Are you in touch with your dark side, Kalina?
Thank you very much, and Kalina's very happy with your communication on that, and you got all the energies very well on that, so thank you for sharing that.
Thank you so much.
Yes, you're very welcome.
The next part of the questioning, and this will be part of the last parts of the talking that we have to do. I don't know how this affects David by going in long periods, but I know for myself, pulling in energies all day is very rough for me sometimes physically. So my question to you will be, are you well versed with your own race's history, and if so, how far back in history are you able to recall, or not specifically from a first person perspective, but maybe if there's archives or text, how far back do they go to your awareness?
Understand we are collective. Speaking to you, within this collective there are also those that might be considered historians in your world, yet we are not consider them to be historians, like people that sit in dusty rooms reading books. Yes, we don't have books, you understand this, but there are also not people reading holograms of that sort, but they are record keepers, yes, and they have access to records that date back to the point in which the reptilian races in all have entered this universe, what you consider your universe, which we are also currently presently inhabiting. The records don't go further back than this. There might be other races within the reptilian kind, particularly within the royal lines, that have access to those groups. There are also bird-like entities that have connected to us more in the ancient past, and they might also be those that are more sufficient to connect to when you want to establish connection to historical records, but ours date back to what you consider the entrance point of the reptilian races in this universe, so much further back than the existence of the human race altogether. Yes.
Beautiful. Then one question that I would have for my own personal curiosity is about 490,000 years ago, there was an attack from your race to the Capellan reptilian hybrids, the ones who I'm connected to, TReb and his race. Do you understand what the dynamic or reason for that attack on their planet was?
Yes, understand. We are only... Kalask is only one group within the Empire, and we have not been the main driving force behind this attack, but yes, we are very well aware of this events occurring. Understand it was not just this world that was being infiltrated, it was also the planet that you are currently inhabiting yourself in your human form that was strongly being interacted with at this point in time, with great turmoil about 500,000 years ago in your counting of time. This have been underway, and this was simply one occurrence within this conflict. Yes, when you're talking about the Capellan region, there was great unrest within the reptilian races in general and within the Empire. It was not considered to be sufficient for a race that was hybridized in this fashion, because understand the reptilian races are being hybridizing in a great fashion within this universe, within the galaxies, but this was more of a human hybridization, and this was also not considered to be something that was allowed to be going on without the Empire. We also understand there are great different interpretations from this, both from your side as well from the reptilian race that is inhabiting this particular region, and with them having brought this upon themselves, and there's a lot of questionings within their own kind and within our kind of what has been going on there. Understand, we were not necessarily, Kalask was not necessarily in favor of this interaction, both negative or positive. We have taken more of a stance of what you consider isolationism. Yes, is this a word you use within your world, of someone not interfering with outward affairs of other worlds. So we have not been directly influencing this capacity, but also projects that were going on within your Orion region in the time. Yes, you understand it's a very different region of your space from where you look at, but you understand we don't have to travel necessarily the way that you do. So the jumping from one point to the other was very easily done by us, and there's a connection of the Capella region to the Orion system and to the planet that you are currently inhabiting and to the planet that you are calling Mars. Yes, and the interactions that have been going on within those systems, as well as in your solar system on Mars, and also the attack on the Maldek planet that was inhabited at this point, also by some of our kind. We were more influencing this project. All those events were occurring in a similar time fashion. Well, maybe not from your point in time, but all within maybe several 10,000 of years, which is not of a great time span for our species. We understand for your peoples it is more such so, but not for us so much. And those events were all tied within each other. Yes, if you're wanting to have more detail on this, yes, we understand we have your own connections. Maybe you can also connect to other branches within the Empire that were more forceful in this attack on the Capellan region. Or if you want to have more perspective of our sharing within this group, you can ask us directly, if you please.
Well, thank you for that offer. I feel that I have a good understanding from both TReb's perspective and from yours. And just for clarification, I wanted to let you know that I knew that you and your fraction of the race was not involved with that, nor do I feel any ill will towards the fraction who was involved with it. I know that it was an important part for their race to grow and to expand in the way that they did, and they're very happy with where they're at now. So all parts of their past are most definitely accepted in love and understanding. So I
Yes.
think that I have a great feel for you and your energy, and I have a great feeling of your connection to David. Is that before we disconnect, or before I'm done with my flow of questions, I wanted to give you an opportunity to say anything that you feel is necessary, maybe to help myself, TReb, and Aridif, who are here with me. If there's any other perspective of energy of yours or your fraction of the race that you want to share with us to get a better energetic understanding.
Yes, thank you. Referring again to the concept of conflict and war relating to this particular interaction within the Capellan region, as a general statement we can say, as you have already suggested, there's great learning experience in everything, and You don't have to hold grudges towards any other entities, both within the Empire or other groups that have been inflicting conflict onto each other, because everything is a learning experience. Yes, war can be a great destroyer, but also a great teacher, yes. And something many people in your world need to learn from our thinking is the appreciation of both the dark and the light polarities, yes, because all are just learning perspectives, yes. We also understand that the entity that you know as TReb, which is really just another version of yourself within the reptilian race on the Gauthier region, yes. They are currently moving more into a lightful perspective, yes. We would also like to remind them of the value of both the light and the dark, where they are coming from and where they are moving into. We understand they are also more of a balanced perspective. But we invite them to also connect more to our energy. We think that would be beneficial for both sides, yes. We have also connected to them before. They have connected to the vehicle before. So we are connecting to the vehicle right now. So this should be easy, the sharing of energies. And to you again, the same as to your current spouse in your life. This concept is similar of you being more in touch with the dark and the light. We understand you have been more in touch with the dark in other lives and maybe your personal life right now, and now you're more in touch with the light side, yes. This is a great movement. We have been making this movement. We are inviting you to share more, to maybe bring in more of the things that you have considered your past and bring them to the light. Bring them to the light of day, so to speak. Take them out of your cellar, take them out of your front yard and let the sun shine on them proverbially, yes. This will also contribute to your abilities to connect outside to other races that might be sitting on the fence, still waiting for you to be more willing to reach out, including those within the Empire. There are also those that would be willing to you. There could be making newly contracts with you if you're willing to do this. Not that we are saying you have to do this. You can connect sufficiently to our energy by now, if you please. But as for others, especially within the bird and reptilian regions, there are many that would like to connect with people in your worlds, and we think you're also on a path that would make it possible for you to become one of them. Yes. So in general, the sharing we have with the people in your world, as we have stated, for you this is more something you can accomplish, but for all the people, especially those, we understand, those that are willing to share those concepts, which in what you call the New Age communities or spiritual societies are generally more tending towards the light side, except maybe those that are considered maybe Satanists or those that are involved with the occult and dark and black magic, yes. We invite you to combine those energies to find a new focal point, because understand your process that you are calling ascension is not achieved by moving from the dark into the light. This is a concept that many of you misunderstand. This is also to false teachings from your religion's perspective, for there's no judgment from our side. We are just sharing information, yes. But this ascension process is achieved by integrating both the dark and the light, so forming something completely new, because as you understand, in the higher dimension there is not only less dark, there is also less light. There's more of a neutral focal point, more of a serenity, not so much happiness and joyfulness that you might experience when you're completely high, or so much darkness that you might be experiencing when you're in deep depression or rage, but more of a serenity, peaceful focal point. I think in your language there's the expression of the eye of the tornado, yes. This is more of a point that you might be aiming for when you're shooting for higher development, yes. This is achieved by experiencing both the dark and the light in an integrative format. This is our most important message at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. And to add one question, if I may, I know I said that was the last one, but Aridif brought a question forward that I feel is important to ask you. Is there a possibility that with your trying to separate, and before I get into this question, first of all, thank you for your knowledge, and thank you for your wisdom that you bring forward, and I resonate with that concept very deeply, so appreciation for that. And the next question is, in your desire to move more so away from that fraction of your race that you're looking at as a darker energy, or that humans look at as a darker energy, is that something that you will pretty much do anything for? If you had to take life in order to achieve that, is that something that you would have on the table, or is that something that's out of the question, aligning with maybe a newer belief?
In the past, of our kind of descent, it was very common. There was not much value giving to life without the collective. Yes, we have been also nurturing us on other life forms, similar many people in your world that are eating the animal life forms. Yes, we have been eating physically, drinking blood, and also nurturing ourselves with energies from other entities. So this was not of much of a point to be considered, more like swatting a fly, like many of your people swat a fly if it's annoying. So you have the expression that the goal justifies any means. This was very true for our kind. We are maybe more considerate of other life forms as we are moving more into a law of perspective, but this is not something that we have completely transitioned, so we cannot no longer say that we would be willing to hamper anything to any amount. We would not be blowing up planets, for instance. If you would be think that it would be necessary, we would circumvent this. Also understand we were no longer killing those that you might consider weak or fragile or sick. We have been exploring what you consider eugenics from a very starting point. So in the past, it was more done maybe like in your ancient societies, such as ancient Sparta, where sick children were simply disposed of in order to create a more strong race. This is also not something we are doing any longer, because we have advanced scientifically, and our great scientific advancement have made it possible for us to be more considerate. Understand we are not maybe what you're considering sadistic. In a sense, we like to inflict pain out of pleasure. Many within the Empire would be this way, and we might have been this way from your perspective in the past. We would not consider this to be the case, but you would probably do so. But yes, sometimes we would still employ those methods, but we don't kill for fun, like many hunters in your world that are just killing animals for fun. We would not do this any longer. That would be a negative act that would be, in the end, not contributing to our well-being, yes. But killing in order to achieve is still something that is considered within our kind to be useful sometimes, but not something positive that we strive for. There's greater honor in achieving without having to adhere to those concepts. Yes, this is also something. It is a very good question, because it relates to the advancement that we are currently making. Because there are some that are more still fearful of the light, and there are those that are more moving towards it. So there's this very point of friction within the Empire right now. So your question has hit a crack, so to speak, that it's currently forming.
Beautiful, and I appreciate that information, the nature of your desire to communicate, and your information, how it comes through. I am very, very happy with our communication. Also, I'm very excited to have formally met you. I know that energetically I had connected to you while listening to parts of David bringing you forward before, but this time it's more intimate and more deeply felt, understood. So myself, Kalina, and TReb and Aridif, all of us are sending you great respect and great love and appreciation for this communication today. So thank you very much.
Yes, and strength and honor to you and your connections as well. We appreciate your part in the co-creation of this interaction to a great deal.
Well, thank you. That's an honor that I was able to be a part of this co-creation that helped bring forward your energy connection to David in a more intimate way for him too. So thank you for that, and I'm sure we'll have a chance to connect again. Thank you.
Yes. Kalask!